Hello again. This on-demand video will familiarize you with the process of uploading and displaying images in your Napa Valley College SharePoint-based websites. The process can be broken down into a few steps, so let's get started. As you can see, I've navigated to my home page and I've logged in with my gear, so I'm ready to edit. Step one is figuring out where we're going to use the image and then selecting the image for that purpose. In this case, I'm going to use an image here on my welcome page in the upper right-hand area, and I might use it here in the center of the page. For this style of usage, an image size of 250 by 250 is the maximum we recommend. Now, I'm going to work on my desktop here to make life easy, but you can work from wherever you store the images that you want to use. So I've identified an image here that's 250 by 166 that I want to use in that space. It's of appropriate resolution, so when I shrink it down, it doesn't just look like a color blot, and I know it's good to go. To prepare the image, I want to right-click and copy the original, and then I want to create an upload folder on my desktop. In that folder, I'm going to paste in that image. Now, whether I had one image, 5, or 10, they should all just get copied in here. Once they're in here, if they are not already of the appropriate size, now is when you would open each one in the image editor of your choice, and you would convert it so that it is no more than 250 pixels wide, and height no more than 250. Okay? Once the image has been converted to the right size, the next thing to do is make sure that the file name is correct. Remember that this URL, this name here rather, gets turned into a URL. So if it has numbers or spaces, all that makes the web link harder to work with, that URL. So I'm going to change this file name to something that'll work. So Napa Sign is a good name for me. Describes it, short, all lowercase, nice and small, compact, ready to go. All right. Once the image has been formatted in size and name, now we need to upload it to use it in the site. To upload it, we go over to our web site window here in our browser. We click on the gear and we go to our site contents. In site contents, we open the images library, and now we decide how we're going to upload it. I'm going to be using this on my welcome page, so I could just drag it and drop it right here into the root. If I have multiple pages to work with, that's what this folder represents. So if, let's say, I had a class called Math 90, and I had documents and images and a web page dedicated to that course, I would create a Math 90 folder, and this is where I'd put my images. Another way of doing it is, instead of just calling this Napa Sign, I might have called this Math 90 Napa Sign, and then that's how I would identify images for different areas. As I said, this is going in my welcome page, so we can just put it right here in the root. And I said drag and drop earlier because you'll notice we have new document or drag files here. SharePoint supports a simple drag and drop operation. So by left-clicking the image, dragging it across, the window changes and you see it says drop here. When I release the image, it's going to try to copy it. Now it says a file name with that name already exists. Let's say I had refreshed the image and I wanted to replace it. I will go ahead and replace it. If that image weren't here already, I'll go ahead and delete that image out. What you would then see is that the image would simply drag across, drop right in, the thumbnail changes, and you can see the resolution. Okay, so now the image has been uploaded to the site, and I want to set it in my page. So I'm going to click on my people, or I could use my favorites. If I have my favorite up here, I'd get back to my welcome page. At my welcome page, I need to go into my edit mode. So I click on the gear and I edit the page. And up here, this page image area of your welcome page, it is designed to only hold images. So as soon as I click, I get the dialog window here that lets me set an image. So here in the selected image area, I'm going to browse. I'm going to confirm that my name is here. Yes, it's in the proper path for my site. And there's the image I want to use. When I click on it once, that file name gets added to the extension here. I confirm it and make sure it looks good. And I insert. And for image rendition, I'm just going to leave it at full size because I want to show you how to work with it. Once I click OK and I set the image, you'll see the image has applied, but it's outside of the blue area of this image display area. To make it fit, it's great that I can just go to the edge and you see how the icon changes in shape. That lets me directly manipulate it like any other Microsoft application. So I can just drag it to the left to shrink it, and because it's locked in aspect ratio, it automatically adjusts the height, and now it fits well within that page image area. Okay, great. So that was easy to fit it into the page image. Now, let's say I want to put that image here in my text of my site. Well, in the page content area, I click, and as we've seen in other videos, my toolbar becomes active, and I have an Insert tab. When I select the Insert tab, I get my image tools, and there is my picture. Okay, so I want to insert the picture from SharePoint because this is in my site. And again, I confirm, there's my name, publishing images. Yes, these are all my images. There is that image I just uploaded. I select it, file name has updated, and I insert. And there is my image that has gone in between my paragraph areas. Now, if I wanted to make this image bigger again, I can still use that same function of drag and drop. It is locked in aspect ratio, and it will adjust it. You'll see that it starts to get a little grainy at these larger resolution sizes, so I pick a particular size that looks good to me, and I set it. And once the image is set, I think it looks good. I check it in to get out of my edit mode and look at it in my preview mode. Maybe I maximize my web page, or I can just leave it here in this view that we're looking at. I like how it looks. I could now publish the page. Now, there are some other little features that you can work with, and this is where we recommend you just experiment with the different capabilities of the system. You'll notice that when I click on the image, my tabs up top change, and in the Image tab, I have a few other tools that I can play with. I can adjust how much horizontal spacing there is, how much vertical spacing there is. By selecting different positions, I can move it around on the page for where it sits in relation to the text. By selecting image styles, I can add a thin line border, or a table style border, a dark border, a light border. You can just play around clicking with these things to determine how it is you want it to look on the page. There is one last feature that is really neat about images that we want to cover, and it's that you can link them. So if I click on the image, like I do any text, you'll notice the Insert tab is available. When I click on the Insert tab, I can actually insert a link. So in this case, we'll say, not from SharePoint, but we'll say from address, because we're just going to use this as an example. Now the text to display, because this is an image, I don't need to insert text to display. I just need to tell it what address I want it to go to. So in this case, we'll just put a Google link right there. So we say OK, and you'll see it's now got Google listed as the link it's going to go to. We'll want that to open in a new tab. That's an external link, so opening a new tab is a good idea. And we'll check in the page. And you'll notice now that the page is checked in, when I hover over this image, I get that orange bar at the bottom, and the icon changes. That tells us this is now a hot link. So when I click on it, you can see it opened a new tab to Google. This image here, because I did not create a link specifically on that image, is not active. But it's possible to add links depending on the configuration. So remember, this one uses its own separate window to configure with the basic tools. This one here, a little more like when we were working with the regular text. And that pretty much covers the basics for how we would format, upload, and link an image within our websites. Have at it, enjoy, and thanks for watching.